Well, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's birds singing right outside the window. It's lovely. It's Sunday morning, September the 14th, I think it is. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, September 14th. Welcome to Hangout number 4? I don't know. I hope you're all doing really well out there. Uh, it's been a rough couple of weeks. I have just been getting over a really bad cold. Well, I think it was actually COVID because I lost my sense of taste and smell for several days, which usually to me indicates COVID, but I could be wrong. Generally, though, I think when I get a cold, I don't lose my sense of taste and smell. But anyway, I'm on the mend now. I would say this is probably the very tail end of it. I'm still a little stuffed up, as you might be able to tell, but yeah, it was it was not good. It was not fun. It was not pleasant. And on top of that, I had to practically work every day while I was sick, so that really sucks. And I'm really tired of that. So uh, I have some things coming up this week which I am excited about, which I'm keeping to myself for now. But some things that may change in my life soon. So kind of just focusing on staying positive and in the moment, of course, but also dreaming a little bit about other things that I would like for myself in my life. So anyway, this channel started out as a movie review channel and a physical media haul channel. I was buying lots of DVDs and Blu-rays. That, if you've been following my channel all along for the last, what is it now? 3 years? 3 years, yep. My channel has morphed a little bit in the last couple of months into more of a vlog kind of a thing. I still incorporate movies and music, but I also incorporate life and thoughts and just other zany things that come into my mind. Speaking of zany, I put my shark puppet head on my Wally for fun. It's about having fun, guys. If you don't have fun, then what are you even doing? Are you even really living? The other thing I said a week or two ago was that I hope these videos can kind of be like a hangout for you in the background. Maybe you want to pop me on the TV while you're cleaning your apartment or your house or your van or your needle pointing or your drawing or your coloring or your making jewelry, whatever floats your boat. Or maybe you're just chilling and you're looking at Instagram and I can be on in the background with you. And so heat up a cup of coffee or tea or whatever your favorite beverage is, or just have a glass of water and just hang out with me for a bit. The last video was quite long. I think it was almost an hour, which was fine. I mean, if you guys enjoy it, then I like making them. My viewership is way down, of course, and I've lost a bunch of subscribers, but I think that's to happen when you change course in your life and just want different things in your life. And I got over my movie collecting addiction and my record collecting addiction and my CD collecting addiction and my burgeoning toy collection addiction, which I had always noted was a slippery slope. Vintage toys, which you can find reasonably priced here and there, but I was starting to buy stuff and I was like, oh my god, this is just getting too much. I was reminiscing a lot this week with people about from 2014 until 2019, thereabouts, and you could even argue even up to 2022. My life mostly fit inside an SUV. So the nature of my work was that I was doing contract work in campus and community radio, and I was moving back and forth between a different province and where I am now. And so when I was doing radio work, I was renting a room or an apartment and working. And when I was during my off time, I would come back here to Nova Scotia and stay with my parents. My dad has since passed away. So that dynamic changed. And of course, with the pandemic, it caused a lot of changes within community radio, unfortunately, which I think there was some downsizing going on, and things changed. And I decided to return to care work with being a personal care worker. And or an opportunity presented itself, and I decided to take it. I probably could have stayed in radio in some capacity if I had really pushed myself to relocate and things like that. And I'm not saying that's out of the realm of possibility again, but um, suffice to say, I sort of grounded myself in Nova Scotia. Um, but the thing is that I had to get used to moving back and forth every 10 or 12 months for contract work, and so I ended up sort of whittling my personal belongings down to what could fit in a rental car, which was usually an SUV. So I really prided myself on that I could kind of pack up a suitcase of clothes with my laptop and my sketchbook, and I could just go. And I want to get back to that, and even more so, and even more, maybe even whittle myself down to even less. Because as I get older, guys, I know my sister and my mom and some other people make fun of me when I say I'm pushing 60, but I actually am. I'll be 56 in January, so you know, yeah, I still have a few years before I have several years before I hit retirement age, but um, the fact of the matter is I'm over my middle age hump, and I'm now thinking about how I want my life to look later on if the universe grants me some more time, which I would love. But yeah, just what's important to me, and I think the pandemic kind of caused me to have this kind of nostalgia and also a bit of a nesting kind of instinct kicked in, and I wanted to kind of like make a little cozy space for myself and do my cottage core thing. And not no I'm just kidding, not really. Like I like some of that thing, but I'm way too old for the aesthetic lifestyle. But just to be cozy and have things around me and my creature comforts, and I still want that to some extent, but I definitely don't need as much as I currently have. And so yeah, moving into a smaller space or other alternatives in life, I just don't need all the stuff. And it's weird, since I've had that change in my mindset, I've even just been rewatching some old movies just to say, like, to see, like, okay, is this a movie that's really important to me? Do I need to keep this in my collection or in my life? And invariably, in a lot of cases, I've been watching movies and I've been thinking to myself, I don't know if I even really like this movie that much anymore, or I've seen this movie enough times in my lifetime that I'm good and I can just move on to other things. So anyway, I'm getting a little philosophical first thing off the top here, which wasn't my plan, but just that, yeah, it's I've had some really great talks with people, and maybe I'll circle back to that at the end. But what I'll do first is I will talk about movies I've watched this week, just because I know a lot of people watch my channel for movie talk and movie reviews and things like that. So, but I, again, I've also been sort of slowing down on watching movies too, and actually turning my TV off more and listening to music and writing and daydreaming. And the trails and things here are all closed in Nova Scotia because we have a massive wildfire that's, last time I checked, is still out of control. I don't know if that's still the situation, but we did get some rain the other day for the first time in about 2 months. So hopefully that's helping the firefighters to fight the fire. And so huge shout out to everybody who's working on combating the forest fires in Nova Scotia and across Canada. It's a terrible thing, and it is a repercussion of all of our consumption and use of fossil fuels and all of that nastiness. So, I was telling my friend Tanya in a email this morning, turn off the lights when you don't need them on. Turn off the TV if you don't really need to watch the TV. Um, consume less plastic. That's something I've been really struggling with. I've been really eating a lot of croissants lately. Sounds like something David Lynch would say. I've been enjoying a lot of croissants lately. Uh, but yeah, they come in these obnoxious plastic containers, and we don't have discovering we really don't have a great bakery that I know of anyway, where I can just go in and buy fresh croissants in the morning. But um, something I've been trying to kind of curb is the amount of plastic that I buy. Food packaging is just so obnoxious, and when you have awakenings and you wake up to the things that you're doing, you kind of go, oh my god, this is just terrible. So trying to reuse Ziploc bags, and there is a bulk barn. I guess I could maybe try to start using that place somewhat. But if you have healthy suggestions, let me know. If you're in bigger centers, of course, you can just go buy fresh food every day at a market or bakery or things like that. Where I live, I mean, I guess you could do that. Maybe I should experiment with that a little bit, but for now, it's just like, oh my god, the packaging is so awful on food. What are we doing? What are we even doing? Anyway, let's go on to some movie talk. So before I forget, I did watch some things online, or sorry, streaming. I watched what was the movie Friendship, I think it was called, with Paul Rudd and that guy, that really awkward guy. And I think Kate Mara is her name, was in it. This was an A24 movie from, I think, earlier this year. Friendship? Is that what it's called? I don't remember now. Maybe you guys will remember the name of it if that's the wrong name, but it was about a guy who was like really strange, and or not strange, but he just lived different. He just has a different personality and character type, and he became friends with Paul Rudd, who lived up the street, who was a weatherman, a meteorologist, I should say. And this awkward guy was married to Katie Mara, whatever her name is. And I watched this on streaming. I think Red Letter Media had done a review of it, and it's an A24 movie. I wasn't sure what to make of it. It was like a dark comedy, I guess, or like just a awkward drama with some weird comedy in it or something. Still not sure. The verdict's out on that one. I don't see myself rewatching that. It maybe is like that A24 movie style with like Beau is Not Afraid or whatever that movie was. They're not horror movies, they're just awkward, kind of unpleasant movies. I don't know. Maybe that's horrific to some people. I'm not going to say it was a bad movie. I'm not a big fan of that actor, whoever that actor is. I know some of you out there know who I mean. In that movie, he's deliberately awkward, but I just don't like I don't like his energy. Paul Rudd was basically like the A24 version of his character from Anchorman. I really don't know what that movie was supposed to do or what it was supposed to be about. I just don't get it. I was thinking like I could identify with the awkward character a little bit, in that sometimes it's hard to fit in with regular people in regular life, but like I also commented a year or two ago about the movie Greenberg with Ben Stiller, and how when I watched that movie I thought, oh my god, I'm Greenberg. Or there's definitely like elements of Greenberg that I'm like thinking to myself, wow, okay. Just that awkwardness, when you go to say something and then somebody cuts you off, or you say something that's really important to you, but somebody says something right after you that's seemingly more fantastic or exciting, and it makes what you said seem not that good. Just those kind of interactions with people, like in group dynamics, and um, it just leaves you feeling really weird. And I could kind of identify with that a little bit because I know how that feels. But was that movie making fun of people like that, or was it a character supposed to be like a character study? Um, Paul Rudd really wasn't that likable in the movie. I don't know. You guys let me know what you thought about that movie if you saw it. I think it's called Friendship. That's a one and done for me. And the other thing I watched on streaming was a documentary called Let There Be Drums, which was actually really good. I really liked that documentary. It's about drummers, but the sort of reoccurring motif, or the thing that they come back to, is the two drummers from the Grateful Dead, which just sort of happened to, I guess maybe my algorithm heard that I was talking about Grateful Dead and it dropped that in for me. Um, so yeah, I watched that documentary and I really enjoyed it. It had Stuart Copeland in it from The Police, who I also really enjoy. I just like hearing him talk, actually. I think he seems like a very interesting person. They talked a bit about John Bonham. They talked a little bit about Keith Moon. They interviewed Keith Moon's daughter. I can't remember her name, unfortunately. She seemed very sad, and I felt kind of bad for her because I think she had probably not a great childhood. Um, but yeah, I would circle back to the drummers from Grateful Dead, Mickey Hart and Rosenberg or something like that. I forget the other guy's name. But it was a good documentary. If you like drums and listening to people talk about drums and drummers that inspired them, and Ringo Starr's in there, which is awesome. And not so awesome, the guy from Red Hot Chili Peppers. I just don't like that guy. I hate the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I just don't really like that guy. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Something about his energy. But maybe it's that band too. I just never really liked the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I will say in the year 1990, my roommate Darren had a cassette copy of Mother's Milk, and we used to listen to that on the stereo. And at the time, I think I thought it was pretty cool, but as I got older, I think I realized not so much for me. Although years later, I did actually like that song, California, California something. That was the year I think that U2 put out that album, All That You Can't Take With You or whatever. Which now that I'm thinking about it, oh, that's interesting to think about the title of that album. Um, but yeah, I thought that year, to me, I thought Red Hot Chili Peppers and U2 probably put out some of the best music they've ever put out. Um, which might be a hot take. Maybe some people think that's their worst, but I thought, for me, I thought that they had reached the plateau of their songwriting abilities. But yeah, I just never been a Red Hot Chili Pepper. Funny story about Red Hot Chili Peppers. Me and a bunch of people I know back in 1992 got in a car and drove to Barrie, Ontario to see Lollapalooza Volume 2, I think it was. And it was Lush, Jesus and Mary Chain, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, or very early on Pearl Jam, Ice Cube, Ministry, and Red Hot Chili Peppers was the headliner. And we all left right before the Red Hot Chili Peppers took the stage because none of us liked Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think we left after was it Ministry? It was either Ministry or Ice Cube, and then right after that was Red Hot Chili Peppers, and we all got in the car and left. I don't know if that was maybe my friends who were driving wanted to get out before the end of the concert, but I think we all just really hated the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And when I retell that story to people nowadays, if they're Chili Peppers people, they're just like, "Oh my God, why? What were you thinking?" And I was thinking, I really don't like this band. Anyway, Let There Be Drums. I believe it's streaming for free. I definitely watched it for free on some streaming app. I don't know if it was Plex or Tubi or one of those ones, but check it out if you like drums. It kind of made me want to play drums again. So most of you out there probably don't know me for 40 plus years, but when I was younger, say about yeah, probably what, 93, 2003, 40, yeah, say 45 to, yeah, about 40 to 45 years ago. I played drums in a band, and I really liked playing drums. And I always sort of fancied myself as a drummer. And after watching that documentary, I thought, gosh, wouldn't it be cool to like play drums again? So that's on my radar. It's actually has been on my radar for a few years, and it kind of comes and goes with in waves. But after seeing that documentary, I thought, yeah, maybe I'd like to do that again. Anyway, the movies I watched, so those were the two streaming movies I watched that I can remember. I'm sure I watched some other ones, but I also revisited Beetlejuice with Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, Justin Theroux, Monica Bellucci, Jenna Ortega, Willem Dafoe, and of course Michael Keaton. This is a Tim Burton production, the sequel or follow-up to Beetlejuice from 19... When was that? 88 or 89? Somewhere around there. Anyway, I saw this in the theater last fall, and I bought the Blu-ray last fall, and I revisited the Blu-ray this past week, and it was fun and cozy and hilarious, and probably, I think I might have done a review of this last fall. If I didn't, I just talked about it when I picked up the Blu-ray, but it's a great little movie. I think it's different than the original Beetlejuice, so if you're a big fan of the original Beetlejuice, you may not like this super well, but I think if you give it a chance, you might find something in there that you like. I thought it was really fun. I think actually I did not like it in the theater. I was kind of disappointed in the theater. When I watched it on Blu-ray for the first time, I thought it was good. And rewatching it this time, I thought it was actually really fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It's almost like it gets better with repeat viewings. Speaking of movies that, I was talking a few minutes ago about movies that I've been rewatching just to see where they kind of sit in my likelihood to keep. I rewatched Hitchcock's Rear Window with Jimmy Stewart and Grace Kelly and Raymond Burr. I love this movie. There's no question about it. But, rewatching it this past week, I found myself kind of distracted watching it. I just couldn't stay focused on it. And I think maybe it's because I've seen it so many times. But it is one of my favorite Hitchcock... All right, settle down. It is one of my favorite Hitchcock movies. It's a classic. I actually, in that short-lived series I did called What's This Doing on My Shelf, I think I actually pulled this movie and talked a little bit about it, so I won't bore you with more details, but it's a great little movie. It's been copied a bunch of times. I think about the movie Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf. Obviously, clearly inspired by this. And of course, another fall favorite for me is What Lies Beneath with Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. And that, of course, I think was inspired by Hitchcock and maybe a little definitely Rear Window. The other one I watched, holy mac, slow down. The other one I watched, or rewatched, I should say, which was a recent pickup, which I was giggling to myself about, was Walt Disney Presents The Haunted Mansion with, what's his name? Eddie Murphy. Terrence Stamp is in here, Wallace Shawn, Jennifer Tilly, special effects by Rick Baker. I will say, rewatching this movie, if you're a fan of horror prosthetics and makeup, do yourself a favor and watch this, especially for the scene in the crypt. Oh my god, the zombies in that crypt are unbelievably good. I wish they were in the movie more, actually. Rick Baker just knocked it out of the park with the makeup in this movie. But those zombies, those undead characters coming out of the crypt, out of the watery crypt, oh, fantastic. In fact, I rewound it a couple times and just rewatched just that scene because I was so floored by the makeup. It's just a goofy Disney movie. Eddie Murphy's charming with his little laugh, his heh 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 heh. I do like that movie. I probably won't keep it in the collection, but it's a fun one to rewatch, especially around this time of season. Or sorry, around this time of year, the holiday, the woo, the Halloween season, the spooky season. So yeah, if you're looking for something that's like a little more lighthearted, you don't want to watch the real gory stuff or the really scary supernatural stuff. The Haunted Mansion is a great little fun family movie, fairly lighthearted. There's some spookiness in it, but yeah, fun. And the last movie I watched on physical media, which actually this one was still factory sealed. I've had this in the collection for a year or so, I think, or more even. Um, I had this on DVD and I upgraded to Blu-ray, and that was, or that is, I should say, Quentin Tarantino's *Inglourious Bastards*. This is from 2009. This is the steelbook. I actually got this a couple of years ago. I found it sealed at Value Village, and I felt this past week was a good time to rewatch it, and I did, and it was fantastic. I don't collect steelbooks, though I would like to have. Uh, Tarantino is definitely one of my favorite directors, I would say, and I have some of his movies on Blu-ray and some of his movies on DVD. So, with my downsizing and my culling and kind of trying to curate a collection of my favorite movies, I would probably like to get the other Tarantino movies on Blu-ray or 4K. Probably Blu-ray is fine. This is cool. It's got it says *Inglourious Bastards* on the muzzle of the gun there, and it's actually like etched into the steel, or the steel. This movie's so fantastic. If you like war movies, even if you don't really like war movies, this is of course Tarantino doing his reimagining of history. And if you hate Nazis, this is your movie, guys. But this has so many funny things in it too. The acting is the acting. Can we just take a minute to talk about Christoph Waltz? I don't know if I feel like I want to do a whole video just on Christoph Waltz, but this is an actor who is, I mean, he's been acting, I think, for a really long time, maybe in Germany or wherever he's from, but he's more recently become known in Hollywood acting, and he does some voiceovers for commercials, I've noticed. Christoph Waltz is such a good actor. He blows me away. Here in this movie, he plays, of course, the Jew hunter, the Nazi, the evil Nazi hunter of Jewish folks that live in the countryside, and he's just an awful character, but he does the character so well. It's almost like, his bounty hunter character in Django Unchained, another Tarantino movie. But he is so compelling in this movie and so terrifying in such a sweet way. I think, again, it's a lot like the Django Unchained character. He's this wild character, and you don't expect him, because he does all these niceties. You think, oh well, this man can't be so bad, but in this movie, he's got this facade of being such a sweet. I mean, he's dressed in a Nazi outfit, so he's obviously not that sweet. But the way he carries himself, portrays himself to these French farmers is like, he's a very sweet. He's like, look, I don't want to. Just tell me if you have any Jewish people hiding in your house. And just we'll just rip the Band-Aid off, but like, I don't want to cause trouble. I just want to do my job. And can I have a glass of milk, because I know you're cow farmers here in the countryside. And it's just terrifying how calm and sweet he is. And then I don't want to give it away, but he's not a nice guy. As were none of the Nazis. But in this movie, I'm sorry if I'm triggering anybody. I don't mean to do that. But this plays a little bit on, well, it plays totally on the World War II history. There's the Nazi hunters led by Brad Pitt, along with who else? Eli Roth is in here, of course. He's the, what did they call him? The Bear Jew, and he does some, he gets some revenge on those Nazis, and it's very weirdly satisfying to watch. Also in here we have Michael Fassbender, who is charming and beautiful and amazing, as he usually is. But yeah, this is from 2009. This movie is rated 18 in Canada for violence, coarse language, and gory scenes. So not for the faint of heart, but if you like Tarantino movies, you've probably already seen this. But yeah, it's a great rewatch. It's one of those ones I don't rewatch a lot, but when I do, I always at the end of the movie, I go, oh, right. That movie's amazing. Right. So let me know what you watched on physical media or streaming in the comments below for movies. I realize these videos run a little long and that's not to everybody's liking, but that's the nature of a hangout, isn't it? How are you guys doing out there so far? I hope you're doing well. I don't think I bought any movies this week. I had a few in my hand. I had the King of New York DVD in my hand, which is a movie I have not yet seen, but heard great things about. I love Christopher Walken. But again, with the downsizing and things like that, I'm thinking to myself, I could probably find that. I think it's actually streaming on Amazon Prime in Canada, so maybe I'll just watch it on there and save myself $4. Yeah, $4.50. Or whatever it is with tax. $3.99 plus tax. My coffee's gone cold, guys, which is a bummer, but whatever. So, I didn't buy any movies this week. I did buy some compact discs, which seems kind of goofy and counterproductive in my efforts, but I also, this past week, my brain and the universe sent to me dance music. And so I was revisiting some Dust Brothers and some what else? DJ Shadow and Chemical Brothers, and so I went on the hunt for some dance music on CD, and I found some Chemical Brothers. I found 2 CD singles. So I found the first one I found, which I bought, was Loops of Fury. This has Loops of Fury, the best part of Breaking Up, Get Up on It Like This, and Chemical Beats, the Dave Clark remix. This is from 1996 from Caroline Records. It's a 4-song CD single. Great. Chemical Brothers always had great cover art too. And so I got that one. And the other Chemical Brothers I got is an EP called Leave Home. And this has 4 versions of Leave Home, including the original, the Underworld Mix 1, Underworld Mix 2, and Sabers of Paradise Mix. This is from 1995 from Caroline Records. Chemical Brothers, yeah. I sort of dabbled in that big beat scene as far as like listening and purchasing. I had that Chemical Brothers CD, Dig Your Own Hole, I think it was called. I definitely felt a connection to it. So I've been revisiting a lot of that, and then some Dust Brothers, which there's some confusion there for me. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Dust Brothers from the United States and Chemical Brothers were called the Dust Brothers before they became the Chemical Brothers or something like this. So sometimes when I'm listening to music, I'm like, I don't know if this is Chemical Brothers, Dust Brothers, or if this is the real Dust Brother or the original Dust Brother. I get confused. And then they did a crossover where I think each of them did a remix of the other's music. And so I don't know, but I'm just enjoying beats and dance music. And the other thing I grabbed, which I see all the time, I think this is an album like a lot of people bought and then got rid of, which might not be their most popular album, but this is Massive Attack's 100th Window. I really love the cover art on that. I see this CD a lot when I go thrifting in the compact disc department, but I picked it up. I like what I've heard so far. I can't say it's, my favorite, but I was kind of in the mood for some dance music, and so I just decided to treat myself to some CDs, which again is counterproductive because I'm trying to get rid of some CDs, but I've also been digitizing my CD collection, so it may be a situation where I digitize them and then lose them. And then you guys are going to laugh so hard at me, but I bought another Everything But the Girl CD, and this one's called Home Movies, and this is the best of Everything But the Girl. But this only goes up to 1993, so it's a callback to my last Hangout video where I got the I don't remember what it was called, but it was like, it's like 1990s, like feel good folk elevator music. It's awful stuff. The one I really want is Walking Wounded. I did listen to Walking Wounded on YouTube this past weekend, thoroughly enjoyed it, but this one will be going in the not in the bin, in the pile for the charity shop. That was my only goofy purchase this week. If I find Walking Wounded, I will definitely grab that one. Now, as far as what was on the hi-fi this week, not to drag this video out too long, I'll just go through these really quick. Let's see. I go continuing with the dance music. So the first two I got were, or the first two I listened to were these Plastic Volume 1 and Volume 2. These were CDs put out by Network Records here in Canada back in the later 90s, like 97, 98. These were like remixes of dance songs: Underworld, Sarah McLachlan, The Chemical Brothers, Propeller Heads, Meat Beat Manifesto, Crystal Method, Garbage is on one of these. Spiritualized is on one of these. So this, especially Volume 1, I really liked this when it came out back in the day. When I worked at Sam the Record Man, when this came out, it was on the hi-fi all the time at work. And just revisiting those. Because I was in the mood to listen to some dance music, and I thought, what do I have in my collection that I could enjoy? I listened to Bjork's Greatest Hits. I've listened to this CD before, but now that I'm in a real mood for some dance music and I was listening to this is a wicked CD. This is so good. I had also listened to Bjork's Post, which of course is a classic from 95. But this, if you're looking for like the essential Bjork, this one, you can't go wrong with this. And I love, love, love the artwork that's on this album. I'll have to see if I can find the name of the artist. I can't remember what her name is, but I did look up her artwork online, and I really like her artwork, and she actually inspired me to buy a bottle of ink and try doing some of these on my own, or that style. Gabriella, I can't pronounce her name, but I can spell it for you. It's no, I can't even do that. Fridksdotir. I'm guessing she's an Icelandic artist as well. But I think that's the name of the person that did these drawings, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I got that right. But anyway, if you look up this CD online, Bjork's Greatest Hits, and just type in artist after the name, she will come up. She does have an Instagram. I don't use Instagram anymore, but she does really cool artwork. I could show you some of the artwork on the inside too, because I just really, really dig her. I don't know if it's ink or just markers or what she uses, paint maybe, but I really love her artwork. And back in the winter, I tried doing some of my own kind of style, my own artwork in this kind of style. I would say she's miles ahead of me, but she definitely inspired me to get off my ass and open up a bottle of ink and get some paper out and do some drawings. So check it out. But yeah, this is a great CD all the way through, and it has All Is Full of Love, Hyper Ballad, Human Behavior, Army of Me, Big Time Sensuality, Venus is a Boy, Isabel. It's a great, great CD, so check that out. And then one that I bought, or one that I listened to that I bought several months ago and I never really got around to listening to it, and that's Grimes. I believe she's from Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. Giddy Primes. I'm sure I'm butchering that. I think this is her debut album from 2010. But I popped this on. This is really good. I got somebody got rid of 3 Grimes CDs at once, and I grabbed all 3 of them from Value Village. And so I just finally got around to listening to this one, and I really liked it. It's could kind of flow with like Bjork or Tanya Tagaq or like that kind of vibe. Experimental, electronic, haunting, kind of incorporates some world music into it, different styles and chanting and things like that. Really cool. The other thing I listened to, because I was listening to, well, this is a bit dancey at times, but kind of more just dark soundtrack music. John Carpenter's Lost Themes, and this is the Lost Themes number 4, Noir. So if you like that kind of thing, check that out. I listened to Television's Marquee Moon this past week. This was on the car stereo a lot this week. Windows down, cool autumn, well, pre-autumn air coming in. Guys, it's not autumn yet, okay? It doesn't happen until September the 21st. It's still summer. Yeah, I know that bums you out, but it's still summer. But getting in the mood for autumn, which is coming. Television's Marquee Moon. I don't have to say anything about this. Guys, if you've never heard Television's Marquee Moon, go check that album out. A stone cold pop rock classic from the 70s. Probably just one of the greatest albums ever made. This morning, I was on a bit of a... So last night I had a crazy dream about being shown a movie in parts, but I was blindfolded and taken to different places to see the continuation of a movie. So they would blindfold me, take me to a room. I was allowed to see the first act of a movie, and then I was blindfolded again and taken to a different place. Take the blindfold off. I was able to watch the second part of a movie, and then blindfolded again and taken to a different place and allowed to watch the third act of a movie. And when I woke up, of course, naturally I was really, really excited. And the first thing I thought about rewatching was the segment in, let's see if I can get this right, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. I think it was episode 7, the visit or the visiting, which was that what it was called? It was the Panos Cosmatos episode with Peter Weller in it. And I woke up and I thought, that's what I want to watch that right now. And I put it on with my morning coffee, and it was so fantastic. I love that episode. If you've never seen it, go check it out. Panos Cosmatos is, of course, probably one of my favorite directors, if not my favorite newer director of the new school. But yeah, he does. He did Mandy with Nicolas Cage. He also did Beyond the Black Rainbow. And this episode in Cabinet of Curiosities, it's on Netflix. If you are fortunate enough to have Netflix, you can go check it out. And then after watching that, I said to myself, I need to listen to some spacey, atmospheric music. So the first thing I thought about listening to was Tangerine Dream's Tangram, which I picked up last fall at Taz Records. A beautiful, beautiful album. This says 2020 on it, but I don't... Yeah, this was originally released in 1980, so this is the an anniversary reissue, I should say, from UMC Records. Fantastic. Then I put on Vangelis, Spiral, from 1977. Really, really good. And then, I'm not sure how I feel about this one, but Vangelis, The City. or Vangelis, however you want to say it. This is from 1990. This grew on me as I listened to it a little longer, but yeah, if you want a super cool mix, here's the Stephanie mix. Watch the Panos Cosmatos episode from A Cabinet of Curiosities, then turn off all the lights, put on your headphones, and listen to Tangerine Dream's Tangram and Vangelis Spiral. Drink some hot coffee with a little bit of cream in it to keep you happy, and it will be wonderful. Then as the sun rises, you open the blinds and you're in a whole new world, and it's beautiful. So I did my intro, did my pickups, I did what's on the hi-fi, what did I watch this week. The only other two things I want to talk about were philosophy / everyday life, and then I was going to say peace and see you later. Philosophy, everyday life, it's much the same as it has been, guys. People out there, I met a really wonderful couple from North Carolina. I do work at a retail shop on the weekends and a whole bunch of other days. And I got into a wonderful conversation with some people from North Carolina yesterday who were visiting Canada, and it's amazing working in retail. You get to meet people from the United States in this current economic climate. And I will say most of them start off by apologizing for their country or for their leader of their country. But I got into a really nice conversation with them about the current situation of the world and feelings that people are having. And we talked a bit about how people are. And I may have talked to you a bit about this before, but just that my personal theory on it is that people are very aggressive. They drive very aggressive. They're very short-fused. They feel entitled, and they feel like you, especially if you work in retail, that you're there to serve them and, you know, get your buns in gear and do what I say and answer all my stupid questions. And I think what's going on is that, again, and this is just my own opinion, but these people from North Carolina agreed with me somewhat that with the pandemic, I think a lot of people, because they were against their will, they were told to stay home and stay inside and not do things that they would normally do and not enjoy things they normally would enjoy. That when we came out of the pandemic and we had our little hangover from it, that people immediately went back to trying to go back to regular life, and they started to feel like, you know what? The government took away 3 or 4 years of my life, and now I'm entitled to take back what's mine in a bit more of an aggressive way. Which I don't think you have to do. I think you can get back to what you want to do and maybe try to recover some of that lost time by enjoying the things that you want to do without the restrictions. And people don't necessarily have to be aggressive and entitled and bad drivers. But I think that's what's going on. And I think for people maybe like you and definitely like me, if you're not like that, it can feel really overwhelming sometimes, and it can feel like really unsettling and really unpleasant. If you go out into the world and expect it to be the same as it was before the pandemic, then you're going to be sadly disillusioned, and you quickly realize that people are really unhappy. I think they're just unhappy and they just want to get back some time, and it's a really sad state of affairs. But I encourage you, if you're not like that, to stay calm, try to stay present, make plans for yourself, relive some memories or think about things that have made you happy, but don't dwell on them. The same with the future. Try to stay present. I'm working at it, kids. It's a hard thing to do, especially in our culture. It's a hard thing to stay present, but you have to work at it just like anything else, and you have to practice just like anything else. And the other thing I was thinking about is I just rewatched the movie Us from Jordan Peele, which if you've seen that movie, you know that. Do you hear the cricket? Yeah, stop and listen to the cricket. That's my lesson for the day. But I was rewatching Us, which is, it's about people living on the surface, and then there's these people that are like doppelgangers that live under the surface, and they're the tethered, and that they become untethered at some point. And I don't want to give away the movie, but if you've seen that movie, you'll know what I mean. It's almost like when you have an awakening and you feel present, and then you go out into the world, especially if you're in customer service or you have to deal with people, they start to feel like those tethered people in the underground. I know that sounds really, really bad and really weird, but it is kind of like that. In the movie Us, there's like a family, and then there's the tethered family that live underground. And the tethered version is they speak really strange, or the husband in the family speaks like in these grunts. And there was a guy yesterday, and he asked me a question, but the way I heard it was almost like that grunting kind of talking. And it really weirded me out, because I was just sitting there like probably listening to like Bjork or something, drinking coffee and just being really chill and trying to be in the moment. And this person just comes through the door and starts rumbling and grumbling, and it really caught me off guard. And I had to do like a double take. Oh, I'm sorry. What was your question? So it was just really weird for me to have that experience. And I thought, oh, maybe this is what it's like for people when you have awakenings, or if you try to be present, or you're not that angry, entitled type of person, that this is what it can feel like sometimes. It's almost like it's been boiled down to its very primal kind of condition, and it's like, oh, it's very unsettling. But I've had some wonderful, wonderful conversations with people. I also met a young man yesterday from Prince Edward Island, and we talked about music and drums and vinyl and sharpening Japanese knives and traveling and being nomadic. And I kind of just fell in love with this guy yesterday, and we had a conversation for like an hour because it was quiet at my workplace. We had a conversation for like an hour, and we talked about so many things. And those kind of connections for me, I love, love, love. And that's why those are the things that keep me going back out into the world. I think otherwise I probably would be a hermit, but so nice. So, I've said this before in my videos, but like, if you see somebody who has a great sense of style, or you see somebody who's wearing a t-shirt that has something interesting on it, and just start those conversations, because invariably they lead to these amazing interactions. And maybe it's because I'm having a bit of an awakening, but I had a couple of occasions where this young man yesterday was wearing a shirt, and I wish I could remember what it said on it, but I asked him about his t-shirt, and it opened up this whole thing, and we ended up talking for like an hour. There was a person standing in line at the grocery store the other day behind me, and he had a shirt on, and it looked like that. If you listen to death metal music, or you're familiar with death metal music or extreme metal, a lot of times they do those really weird, tangly logos for their band names. And this guy was wearing one. And I said, oh, what band shirt are you wearing? Because, I always like to connect with fellow metalheads. And he says, oh, no, it says live, love, laugh. And I was like, oh, but it's done in like the death metal lettering, which to me was genius. And but then I said, that's such a cool shirt. And I was like, that's really cool. And as I was walking away, he goes, not that I'm not a metalhead, because I am, and I turned back, and I gave him the devil horns, and he gave me the devil horns back, and it was like this little shared moment, so it's little things like that just keep life feeling so fantastic. So, I encourage you to do that. The other thing, obviously, I'm trying to do it some more, is to get back out into nature. Now that the extreme humidity is over, we're still dealing with smoke in the air, which is unsettling. And with my cold, I couldn't actually smell if it was smoky. I lost my sense of smell, so I couldn't tell if it was actually smoky out or not. So I'd have my windows open for an hour or so, and then all of a sudden my throat would start to tighten up, and I go, oh, it must be smoky outside. So, but I'm trying to get back outside. I'm hoping this week, maybe if I'm feeling a bit better, I can go out for a bike ride again if the smoke subsides. But huge shout out to the firefighters and communities who are dealing with the forest fires. It's a terrible, terrible thing. And like I said, I think with global warming, we're starting to actually see that we're not having winters anymore. We're having extremely humid summers, like just to the point of taking your breath away. Air conditioning is just ghastly, and of course that's running up power bills and draining our power sources. And now, of course, we're having problems with the water, where they're telling people to cut back on their usage of water. So it's a really sad state of affairs. But scientists have been calling it for decades, and I see the size of the SUVs and pickup trucks that go by every day, and I think to myself, really, really, people. So anyway, I don't want to be too preachy, but if you can cut back in your life a little bit, like we were talking a while ago about plastic containers and consumption of plastic and having electricity on all the time. I mean, just sitting here now, I realize that I've had my little plug-in fairy lights are on the whole time I've been talking, which is an hour. So there's a whole hour I could have had those unplugged. So it's just being mindful about those things and doing your part. So, guys, that's probably about it for now. I've gone an hour. I really appreciate you tuning in. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry, but I'm sad that I was under the weather last week to not be able to do a new video, but I'm back. And oh yeah, and of course my music video last week, which I dropped from my new music project Midwich or Midditch. I dropped a video, White Envelopes. So what was it? Sangres Blancos, which is white envelopes, which was just something I saw on the side of a box of white envelopes sitting on my desk, and that's why I called the song that. But that was my first foray into filmmaking, and so that was cool. I did that a couple of weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago tomorrow. I recorded the music on a Monday, and I did the video on a Tuesday and put the video together. And I dropped it out there for you to enjoy. So I hope you did enjoy. One commenter said that it was goofy, which I'll take. My hope was playful. I'd really like to do a horror movie, a short horror movie or something like that, and some more music videos coming. I have 2 songs in the works right now. One is going to be another just kind of like a laid-back song, and I'm working on doing like a haunted surfer kind of song for Halloween. So hopefully I can get those together in the next month and a half before Halloween happens. So just been enjoying that. Like I said, I have something coming this week for myself, for my life and my future, which I'm hoping is going to pan out for me. So I'm excited for that. Going for some walks, enjoying the sunshine, playing my guitar, and turning the TV off and just getting out there. Not to say I'm not excited about movies, because I am, but just scaling back. And, I doubt anybody I've sold movies or music or toys to this week or this past few weeks is seeing me here on YouTube. But if you are, thank you for buying stuff off me. I sold my whole Twin Peaks movie collection to a young couple from Halifax who were ecstatic to be able to add that Twin Peaks collection to their collection. And the excitement in their face when they saw the movies as I handed them over to them for a small amount of cash made me happy, and it made me excited, because they were so excited. They're like, Twin Peaks on VHS? Hell yes. And you know what? I was like, I get it. I've had those movies for years, and those DVDs for years, and I've enjoyed them many times, and now I'm handing them off to a new person. So happy to do that. It's kind of exciting, and it frees up some space in my life for new things and new energy. So Guys, that's it. I've been here for an hour. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are well out there in video land and taking care of yourselves, taking care of your friends and your family. And I'll be back next week, hopefully, with another Hangout video. I would like to try doing a live stream, so if that's something you guys would like to see me try, I looked at the StreamYard, but it costs money, so I don't know what the live video on YouTube is like, but I might try that maybe in the coming weeks just to see what that's like, and if I can get some people interested in doing a hangout. Maybe a live hangout would be fun, and that would kind of free up some time for me as well, and but still provide you with some fun video content. So anyway, leave your comments below. Tell me what you watched or what you listened to this week. I'd love to hear from people. I don't get nearly enough comments about movies you watched or movies you picked up, or music you watched or music you picked up, or anything, or what's going on in your life. Let me know, and I'll do you a shout out. I always like to support my friends. If you make things and you want to trade for me with zines, or download codes, or I don't know, whatever it can be, drawings, let me know, because I always like to trade with other folks. Even if you don't do creative things, but you want to do a drawing for me and we trade drawings, or trade a drawing for a zine. I have lots of zines left over from years ago that I don't know what to do with. So yeah, if you were interested in that, send me a message or leave me a comment. Consider giving me the thumbs up if you like this kind of content. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you are not vibing on what I'm doing, it's okay if you want to unsubscribe. I mean, I think I was like at 670 and I'm down to like 648 now, so so be it. I'm feeling so chill these days, I don't even mind. It's like, that's how the universe is. Guys, we're all made out of the same stardust, so don't get too excited about it. What was the quote I got this week? Alan Watts, and it was like, you are the universe experiencing itself. Bye-bye.